Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel So Fly Styles. My name is Sophia Abdulsalam. So if you are watching this video right now, I want to believe that you have seen the part 1 of this tutorial where we broke down all the pleat and circle skirt calculations, and I want to believe that you have done your own calculations using your own measurements and you are ready to sew now. Okay, so in case you are not you have not seen the part 1, I'm going to put the link in the description box for you so that you can check it out, so that you will understand how we got all the measurements we are going to be using in today's tutorial. So today's tutorial is actually the fun part of this whole skirt making. It is the sewing process. So I'm going to be showing you the sewing process in today's tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you how to form your pleat step by step. I'm going to show you how to sew down your pleats neatly, and I'm going to be showing you how to prepare and attach your waistband to your skirt. Also, I'm going to be showing you, in case you want to put like tulle or net under your skirt to make it a little bit puffy like mine here, I'm going to be showing you how to do that and fix your lining to achieve a nice finished look. So I'm going to be showing everything. So in case you are wondering why is the video so long, like 50 minutes plus, so I'm sorry guys, it's because I don't want to leave anything out of this video. This video is really detailed and it is beginner friendly, and I don't want to leave out any information for you. So go grab your own fabric and your tools. Let's get started with today's tutorial. So in today's tutorial, now this is the fabric I want to use here, and the paper you are seeing is the part of the calculations we did. So we calculated that I am going to use 160 inches of fabric to create my pleated circle skirt or pleated flare skirt, and that is approximately 3.5 yards. So when I got to the market, I bought just 3.5 yards of fabric. So my advice to you is that if you calculated like 3.5 yards for yourself as well, I would advise you to buy like 4 yards, because after I got home and I started working on the fabric, I realized that the guy that sold my fabric didn't measure up to 3.5 yards even. I think he measured about 3 yards and like 10 inches extra. So it really affected my work when I was doing it. So buy extra half yard on your own fabric. If you have more, you can use it as a scarf or something else. Okay, it's better to have more than less. So what I'm just going to do now is this 160 inches, I'm going to measure it out on my fabric, and I'm going to be measuring it from the part, the yardage part, where they used to measure how many yards of fabric you need from the market. Okay, that is where you are going to measure your 160 inches from. So after I measure my 160 inches, I am now going to fold it into 2. So if you don't have enough space in your workroom, you will then fold it again to create like a cone, like the way I'm just showing you on the paper now. But if you have enough space, you can just fold it into 2 and leave it like that on the floor. I'm going to be doing it on the floor, okay, because I can't do it on the table. I don't have enough table. So after you fold your fabric neatly like this, the next thing we are going to be doing is from the tip of the cone here, you are going to go down by your waist radius. So in the part 1 of this tutorial, we calculated that I'm going to be needing 26.75 for my waist radius, but I said I'm going to be approximating it to like 26. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that 26 inches on the fabric. But after I mark that 26 inches, I will still show you, okay? I'm just explaining it. So after I marked that 26 inches, I realized that it was not giving me enough of what I want. So I ended up using 26 3/4, which is approximately 27 for my waist radius, okay? So if you watch the first part of this tutorial, you're going to understand what I am saying. So after I mark my waist radius again, then from the waist radius, I'm going to go down by my skirt length, okay? So I'm still going to show you everything now on fabric. I'm just trying to explain to you before we get right into the fabric cutting. So I don't know if you can notice what is happening here. So I've folded my fabric into 2. That means I have 60 inches, okay, on fold. So I first of all marked the 26 inches and I measured it round. I realized it was not enough for me. Like I didn't have enough for my zipper allowance, so I ended up using the 27 inches for my skirt length. For my waist radius. That is me just marking out that 27 inches now. So as you can see, I'm measuring it to be sure that it is actually enough. So it was enough for me. Then I went ahead to mark out my skirt length. So because I have increased my waist radius to 27 inches, I had to reduce my skirt length to from 34 to 33 inches. Okay, so that is what is happening now. So I calculated 34. I said I was going to do 34 inches for my skirt length in the first part of the video, but now because I increased my waist radius to 27 and I don't want joining on my skirt, that is why I reduced my skirt length from 34 to 33. Okay, so I'm just going to mark it all out now and cut it out. And please, when you place your fabric on the floor like this, make sure it is flat and relaxed, and make sure you pin everything down neatly, because especially if you are working with the type of fabric that I'm using, the fabric is called jonkoso and it can be really drapery and slippery, so you want to pin everything down neatly. So if you're a beginner, I would advise that you don't buy jonkoso, because jonkoso can be stressful to sew. I think I said it before. Okay, so just buy a more sturdy fabric, but make sure it's just a little bit drapery. And I don't even advise you to buy silk, because silk can be stressful to sew as well. So but if you know, like, this advice is strictly for beginners. Okay, so now I'm just cutting it out so that I can start working on it. Okay, so let's cut. So after I was done cutting, this is what I have here. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to measure what I have on the waist round. Okay, I'm going to measure what I have to be sure I have my 84 inches waist measurement that I need. If you are wondering how I got 84 for my waist, I just multiply my waist, which is 28, by 3 to get 84. So whatever your own waist measurement is, multiply by 3, then measure it out on your fabric. Make sure you have that 84 in total, but mind that this fabric is on fold. Okay, so I'll be using 42. So whatever extra fabric you have left is what you are going to use as your zipper allowance. So I think I have up to 1 inch, or like 1 inch on both sides, so that is going to be my zip allowance, and I'm going to mark it out from the top of the skirt down to the hemline. Okay, and I'm going to connect it with a straight line. So after that, I'm going to take it to the machine, sew it down, and fix my zip. Okay, I believe by now, like, if you have watched 2 or 3 of my videos, you would have seen how I fixed my zip, so I didn't think it was necessary for me to show you how I fixed the zip again. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix the zip, then come back to show you what I have. So right now I have fixed the zip neatly. So as for the length of the zip, I think I came down by 13.5 from the waist. So I did 13.5 because, you know, this skirt is just the waist, so I need to make sure that it passed through my hip when I'm wearing it. That's why I did so much. Okay, so now it is time to do our pleats. So before you do your pleats, or you open up your fabric, make sure you notch the center front of the skirt. Okay, and to do the pleats, I have turned to the wrong side of the skirt now. Okay, so it is on this wrong side. I will now come from the center. I'll be marking my 2 inches pleat wideness that I decided in the first part of this tutorial. I said I'll be doing 2 inches pleat wideness, so I'll mark it from the center and mark 2 inches 3 times. Okay, the 2 inches, I'm marking it 3 times. So as you can see, I marked 3 times. Then the middle one that I marked, I picked it up and placed it on the center front. Okay, on the notched point. Don't worry, you'll see it in the next one that I'm about to make. Okay, so from the center, you know, I've just done one side. Now to do the second side, from that notched point again, I'm going to mark 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches 3 times. And I'm doing 2 inches because that is what I have decided to do from the past one. That's what I used to do my calculations. Okay, so then you are going to take the middle 2 inches that you marked, then place it on the center front to form an inverted pleat like this. Okay, now I hope you still remember that I told you that when you do an inverted pleat, the back side of an inverted pleat is a box pleat. Okay, you know, this what I just did is an inverted pleat, that is kissing pleat. The back side of it is a box pleat. That is what I want to show on the right side of my clothes. That's why I'm doing a kissing pleat on the wrong side. So by the time I'm wearing the skirt outside, like, you'll be seeing a box pleat. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So now the next thing now is, from the last 3 inches, I'm still going to mark 2 inches, 2 inches 3 times again. 2 3, okay, 1 2 3, like this. Then now I'm going to pick the first 2 inches that I picked, this one. I'm going to pick it and place it on top of the last 2 inches mark. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I'm going to place it on the last 2 inches mark, like this. Then use my pin to secure it. Please, when you are doing your pleats, you will need a lot of pins, because you need to secure it neatly and you need to be arranging it. Okay, so now let me explain to you what I have just done now again. The thing is, when you are creating an inverted pleat, as much as you are doing an inverted pleat, you'll still be doing a box pleat inside. So now let me just show you. So now I'm marking my 2 inches first time, second time, then the third time. Okay, you mark whatever pleat wideness you have decided, you mark it 3 times. Then you are going to, now for the second part, I'm now going to carry this first one that I marked and place it on the last 2 inches. Okay, just see what I'm doing in the video, you are going to understand it. Okay, then after you are done, you are just going to take your pin to secure it neatly. Don't worry, when you are doing your own, you are going to figure it out. It's not hard at all. Okay, so as you can see, I started with an inverted pleat in the middle, but from what you are seeing on the side now, it's looking like a box pleat. So the next one I'm going to do now is going to give me an inverted pleat. Don't worry, you'll see it. So mark your 2 inches 3 times. Mark it 3 times anytime you want to create one pleat. So the next thing I'm going to, this middle one, I'm now going to place it on the, okay, I'm going to place it here. Can you see what is going on? Can you see that I've now had another inverted pleat there? So it alternates. Okay, that's why I told you that they are similar and they can be used interchangeably. Box pleats and inverted pleats, they are similar and they can be used interchangeably. So there is no how when you are doing a box pleat, you will still do an inverted pleat inside it, and when you are doing a box pleat, you will still do an inverted pleat inside it. So you will do one box pleat, you will do one inverted pleat, you do box pleat inverted, box pleat inverted. That is how you will be able to achieve your look. Well, I just hope I'm not boring you with all these talks, but just watch what I'm doing in the video, you are going to understand it. So now, can you see the pleat I have here is an inverted pleat? So the next one I'm going to do now is a box pleat. It's a box pleat. Can you see, after I folded this last one, can you see what is going on with this particular pleat that I'm holding? You see, it's a box pleat already. So don't worry, it's not that hard. When you are doing your own, you are going to get it. So I'm just going to do all of this around the waist. Okay, then I am going to take it to the machine to sew it down. Just know that for every pleat you want to do, whatever pleat wideness you decide upon, you are going to be marking it 3 times for you to create one single pleat. Okay, so let's do everything, then take it to the machine to sew it down. So after I was done pleating, it's time to sew it down. Please, I made a mistake here that I would like to correct. So if you notice what is going on here, the zip allowance and the zip, I folded it inside like the normal way it should be. Please don't do this. Leave your pleat allowance out. Don't stitch it down with your pleat, because when you want to put lining, this is if you want to put lining. If you know you are not going to put lining, you can stitch it down the way I've just done. But if you want to put lining, put net under your skirt, please leave the zip allowance out of the sewing. Okay, don't worry, I will show you what I mean. I'm still going to correct it. I'll show you the video when I'm correcting it, but I'm just saying it ahead so that you don't make a mistake and you start loosening the cloth. Okay, so just sew it down neatly, then I'm going to show you what I'm talking about later on after we finish sewing. So as you're sewing, you need to be arranging your pleats. Okay, be arranging it as you're sewing so you don't sew it sew down what you're not supposed to sew down. So this is what I was talking about. Can you see that when I got to this part, I left out my sewing, I mean my zip allowance and the zip. Can you see? I pick it out. I didn't put it under the pleat so that I don't stitch it down. So the first part, the first side of this skirt that I stitched down, I have loosened it out. Now I am now going to resew the pleats that I loosen out. Okay, I'm going to resew the pleat that I loosen out. You don't have to sew it down to the edge. You are just trying to secure the pleat, okay? But just make sure that you secure it enough so that the pleat doesn't, you know, start falling apart. Okay, so and there's something I did with my pleat. When I got to the zipper part, I folded it in such a way that it will be covering the zip when I am done. Don't worry, I'm still going to show you. There's the way I did it. It's not like there's a way I did it. I just intentionally did it like that. I folded my pleat like that. So I don't know if you notice it from this video now, but I just folded it in such a way that it's covering my zip. So when I'm wearing it is what you are going to see that there is zip. But when I'm not wearing it, you will not know that there is zip there unless you see the zip head. Okay, so just don't mind me, Sha. So here I was done sewing down the pleat and I was just trying to unpin it. So at this point, if you know you don't want to put net under your skirt, you can just go ahead, turn the hem and put band on the waist, then you are good to go. But if you know that you want to give it a little bit of puffiness like my own skirt, then you need to go ahead and cut your lining and work on the net you want to put under it. So the first thing, now this is the skirt before I put the net under it. So as you can see, the pleat is coming out nice and it is just flowing well. So for those that do not like the net under, you are fine. So now to cut the lining, I am going to be doing a 180-degree flare as well because I want the lining to add to the fullness of the skirt. So, and I'm going to use my waist measurement exactly. So my waist is 28 inches like I told you. Then the next thing we are going to be doing now is to calculate our waist radius. So to do that, I'm going to take my waist measurement and I'm going to divide it by pi. And the value for pi is 3.14 or 22/7, whichever one you get, you can remember. So after I did 20 divided by 3.14, I got something like approximately 9 inches. So I'll be using 9 inches for my waist radius. So as for the lining length, I'm going to be doing 6 inches less than the original skirt, so which gave me 28 inches. But you know, I told you that I later reduced the length of my skirt to 33. Okay, so now the length of my lining will be 27 instead of the 28 I used. Okay, so I'll now do, but let's stick with what I have in the paper here. So 34 plus, 28 plus the 9 inches gave me what? Gave me 37. So 37 times 2 is what I'm going to mark out on the lining. But the lining I even bought is 2 yards, and we all know that a yard is 36 inches. 36 times 2 gave me 72, not even 74. So I'll be using what I have on this lining exactly. And I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I'm supposed to measure out 74. That is, if I divide it by 2, that is 37 in 2 places. But I bought just 2 yards of the lining, which is going to give me just 36 times 2. Okay, meanwhile I need 37 inches in 2 places. So I'm going to be using this 36 inches, which is going to give me 72 in total, like that. So I folded the fabric into 2 and I've gone ahead to fold it into a cone. Then I'm using my pin to secure it neatly. So after you use your pin to secure it, so make sure you calculate your own well. Okay, use your waist measurement, reduce your skirt, your lining by 6 inches or 5 inches or 4, but you can't do 2 inches, it's too small to be showing under your skirt. Okay, so I'm just going in here by my waist radius measurement of 9 inches. From the top of the cone, go down by your waist radius measurement of 9 inches, which is what I have just marked. Then from there, I'm going to go down and mark my lining length. So like I said, the lining length is supposed to be 28 inches, but if I go ahead and do 28, there will be joining on the lining. So if I don't want to do anything like join, so I'll be using 27. Okay, I'll be doing 27, and already I've reduced my skirt length from 34 to 33. So 33 minus 6 inches gave me 33 minus 6 inches gave me 27. So the 27 I'm using is totally fine here. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, Sha. So I've marked everything and I'm just cutting out the lining piece. Now please note that this measurement that I'm doing, even the skirt length that I did 33, there's still, I cut 33 exactly. That is excluding the band though, okay? And inside that 33 I'll still take half inch to join the band to the skirt, so that makes it like 32 and a half. And I'll still turn the hem, okay? I'll still turn the hem of the skirt, though I use bias to turn the hem of the skirt, so I didn't take out much. But I'm just telling you so that you will know exactly what I am doing. I didn't minus anything for my band allowance or anything. I just cut out 33, then did my band. The band added to the length as well. I hope you understand. So after you cut your waist like this, make sure you measure each round to see what you have. So whatever you measure and have, multiply by 4 and make sure you have your waist measurement and extra for your zip allowance. Note that even this lining that I didn't have zip allowance. It's just my 28 inches divided by 3.14 exactly, okay? So now I'm done cutting my lining. The next thing I want to start working on is the net I want to put under the skirt, okay? I told you I bought 1 yard for this skirt, for this thing, Abby. It's because I have extra atom that I want to put, okay? So now, as for the net, I want it to be 4 inches less than the lining length, okay? 3 to 4 inches less than the lining length. So the lining length is 27 inches, Abby. So this one I'll be doing 24 inches for the net, okay? I'm going to be using 24 inches for the length of the net. So I'm just folding it out, then use my chalk to trace out the mark I did, then cut it out. I hope you understand what I'm doing. So the 1 yard I bought, I folded it into 4. Then now I cut out the length of my net. Then I'm going to separate this top here so that I'll have it in 2 pieces. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So after this, I am now going to go ahead and sew it down to make it one single piece. Then I'm going to bring out the excess, I mean the ones that I said I have at home. I'm going to join it to this one here, okay, to make it one long thing. So if you want to put under your skirt, if you want to put this net under your skirt, you can go ahead and buy like 1.5 yard, okay? I think it should be on just by 2 yards, because even this one I think I use up to like 3 yards with the lining and everything. I mean, with the extra that I have at home, I think I used up to 3 yards. So here I was done joining it, okay? I didn't think I should show you where I was joining it. So I have a long thing for this net now. So what I'm going to do, then the next thing I did was to cut out a paper that I think is about 1 inch and 28 inches long, okay? So that is my exact waist measurement. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go ahead and gather the net. Then after I gather it, I am now going to sew it on top of this paper that is 28 inches long. I like to do it this way than gather the net and sew it on the lining directly, because I feel like when I do it, the lining squeezes. But if I do it on the paper, it will prevent the lining. I will just, since I already have the exact thing I have on the paper, I'll just put it on top of the lining and sew it. I hope you understand what I'm doing, okay? I'm saying. So now, before I do that, I just want to confirm that my lining, I have my exact waist measurement on it, okay? So I mark out my exact waist measurement, then I notch out the excess. So it is the excess that I have here that I am going to use to do my zip allowance, okay? So I'm going to measure what I have from here to here, take it all the way down the skirt, I mean the lining. Then I'm going to take it to the machine to sew it down. After I sew it down, I'll take it to the iron to open up the seam allowance, okay? After I open up the seam allowance, I will now mark my zip length of 13.5, which is what I did on the lining. Then I will open it up. So I'm explaining all of this because I didn't show you guys these things. So here I am done sewing down the zip allowance. I ironed it open. Then I went ahead to loosen out the part that is going to be for my zip, and I think I did 13.5 for the zip length, okay? So after that, from the top of the lining like this, that is the waist, I'm going to mark something a little bit more than ½ inch. I think I did about 3/4, close to 1 inch. Yes, I came down by 3/4, or you can do as much as 1 inch on your own lining, okay? So this line that I've just marked is where I am going to sew my two on top, okay, the net on top. So this is what I was saying. I gather the net and sew it on top of the paper. So if you measure what you have on the paper now, unfortunately you are not here with me, you'll see that I have exactly 28 inches, which is my waist measurement. So I am now going to sew this net on top of the lining and on top of the line that I have marked out. Okay, so to do that, get the midpoint of your net and place the midpoint on top of the midpoint of your fabric. Please notch the center of your lining after you cut it. I notched mine. I don't know if you can see it, so make sure you notch your own as well. Then use your pin to secure it like this, so this way it will be easy for you when you are sewing it down. You don't have to worry about the net is more on one side than the other. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm just going to take this to the machine now to sew it down on top of the line that I have drawn out. Okay, right now I am done fixing the the net on top of the lining. As you can see, everything is gradually coming together. So please, if you are still watching at this point, do well to like, share, and please subscribe to the channel. Okay, so right now the next thing we want to do is to put the lining and the main fabric together. So but before that, I am going to trim off this excess net that I have on the waist area, because if you don't trim it off, it is going to make the waist area a little bit bulky, and it might even be entering your seam allowance, which is not going to be easy for you when you are sewing. So if you have something like this on yours, make sure you trim it off. Okay, so after I trim it off, I am now going to bring the main fabric, which is the skirt, and put it together so that we can start sewing. And we're going to start sewing from the zip part. So now I'm going to turn to the right side of the main fabric, then put it inside the lining. Note that the lining right now, it is the wrong side that is outside, so that means the right side is inside, and I am putting the main fabric on the right side inside. Please, sorry, what I'm just saying is that make sure you put the right side of the lining is facing the right side of the main fabric. Okay, so after that, I am now going to take this is why I asked you to leave out your zip allowance when you were sewing down the pleats. Okay, if you don't sew it down, by the time you want to do this, it will not be easy for you. You will have to loosen it out again. So leave out your zip allowance when you are sewing down your pleat. So right now, after I make sure the right side of the lining is facing the right side of the fabric, I am now going to take out my zip allowance like this, then let them match. Let the zip allowance on the lining match the one on the main fabric. Then you are going to pin down one side like I am doing right now. Okay, pin them down neatly like this. Then I'm going to take this side that I'm pinning, I'm going to take it to the machine to sew it down. I'm going to sew it all the way down to where the zip ends on the main fabric. I don't know if you understand, but if you make sure that the measurement you use or your zip length on the lining is what you use on the main fabric, you will not have it is going to match. Okay, so just take the machine to sew it down like I am just doing right now. Please, as you are sewing, be arranging your clothes, because already the kind of fabric I'm using is slippery, and it's too drapery and everything. It can shift, so that you don't sew what you're not like. You don't sew on the main fabric. I don't know if you understand. So make sure you are arranging your seam. As you're sewing, you are arranging. Do it gently, you don't have to rush. Okay, so now I am done sewing down one part of the lining, and I've even unpinned it, as you can see. So what we are going to do now is we are going to turn to the right side of the main skirt. Okay, we are going to turn to the right side of the main skirt. So note that the net, it is going to be in the middle of the main skirt and the lining after you turn to the right side. Please take note of that. So at this point, when you are turning it like this, it can be a little confusing, so you have to take time, like calm down. You don't have to rush. Okay, like it can tangle. This point, it can tangle. It even tangled when I was doing my own, but just take your time, you will get it. Okay, take your time. Make sure the lining, you turn to the right side of the lining and you turn to the right side of the fabric of the skirt the way it is supposed to be, such that the net is going to be in the middle. Okay, just arrange it neatly, don't worry, you'll be fine. Okay, so now after I was done, I got it. Now I have finally gotten the hang of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is the second part of the zip that I want to sew down. I'm first of all going to pin it together to the lining first so that I don't mix it up again. Okay, pin it together, like just pin it down randomly so that you don't mix it up until you get the hang of the waist area. Okay, can you see? So right now I'm finally getting the hang of the waist area. Then I'm going to go ahead and pin down the waist area too. I just don't want to mix it up. All right, so pin down the waist area like with your pin, secure it neatly so that it doesn't, you know, because we have not sewn down the waist area, it can easily just turn around and mess up your sewing and even frustrate somebody. So right now I am done arranging the skirt the way it's supposed to be, like right side up, and the tool is in between the lining and the main fabric. So to sew down the zip on the second side, what you are going to do is you are going to lift your skirt up like this. After you arrange it, lift your main fabric up to find the zip allowance for the second part. Then you are going to arrange it like this. Put the lining, zip allowance of the lining together with the zip allowance of the main fabric. Then make sure they match and pin it down neatly. Okay, pin it down neatly like this. So once I am done pinning, I'm going to take it to the machine to sew it down. Okay, the same way we did for the first part. It's what we are just going to repeat. So after sewing down everything, this is what I have. I can easily turn to the right side of the skirt now, but please don't unpin the waist area yet, okay, so that you don't mix everything up. All right, so let me zip it so that you see what I'm saying. So everything is neatly done and everything is in place. You can see that the tool, I mean the net, is making it look big and bulky. Don't worry, we are going to take care of that bulkiness later on. Okay, so what I'm just going to do now is I am going to turn the hem of the skirt. I think I've done it. Yes, I've turned the hem of the skirt and I have sewn down the waist area. So I secured the lining and the main fabric on the waist area, and I used my bias to turn the hem of the skirt. Okay, so right now I am just, you know, ironing it down so that it will be flat and nice on the hemline. Okay, so now after this, I am now going to take care of the bulkiness that the net is giving the skirt. So to do that, you need to iron your net. So actually I was supposed to iron down the net before I fix it on the lining, because I knew it was going to create this bulkiness, but I was too lazy to start ironing. I don't want to be doing ironing three, 4, 5 times. I want to do all my ironing together. So if you are not feeling lazy like me, before you attach the net to the lining, make sure you iron it down just to keep it flat. Okay, but if you want to be lazy like me, you can just iron it now after you attach it to the skirt. So if you don't iron it, it is going to be bulky. Okay, so iron it, keep it pressed and relaxed. Okay, so you need to iron it very well to keep it relaxed. Okay, so I'm just ironing it now, and we are going to start preparing our band for the skirt. Yeah, someone was curious about my iron that did not have wire or anything, that is wireless. So I'm trying to show you what my iron, how my iron works. I hope you can see the plate there. So it's that plate that is going to charge the iron, get it hot. Once it's hot, it turns green. Then I pick it up and use it to iron. Once I feel like it's no longer hot enough, I put it back on the plate to make it hot. So right now I am done. I hope you can see that it is looking better now, like compared to before I ironed the net down. So this is the magic and the trick I used on my skirt. So you can see it's looking flatter and better. So what we are going to do now is to work on our band. But now look at what I was telling you about the way I did my pleats. You can see that it is covering the zip allowance. Yeah, so you can go ahead and do the same thing for your skirt too. I just like it. So though it will still show when you wear the skirt because of the, you know, the net you put on that, and even when you wear it, it's still going to show a little. But anyways, now we want to prepare our band. So I'm using the leftover pieces of the fabric that I have. So I am going to be cutting my band on bias, and since I already have my fabric on bias already, I hope you know this part of the fabric that I'm talking about, the one I cut off after I cut out my skirt. Yes, so I folded it into two, and I'm going down by the length of my band is actually 1.5, but I'm cutting 3 inches now. Okay, and as for the width, you know my waist is 28, so I added extra 4 inches. This is because I want to put 1 inch for the hook, then 1/2 inch to join it, then the extra 1/2 inch is just in case. Okay, you will understand why later. So your waist measurement plus extra 4 inches if you want to put hook and high, then make sure you, then as for the length, I want to do 1.5 inches band, but I did 3 inches. Okay, so now for the lining, for the band, I'm going to be putting Estee on mine. I like to put Estee. I work with Estee a lot. So someone asked me how did I attach Estee on my clothes. So I'm showing you this part of the tutorial so that you will see how I did it. Okay, so there's the part of the Estee that is scratchy. When you touch it, it's scratchy. That is the part you are going to place on your fabric. Then you place your iron on top of it to make it gum to your clothes. Maybe when I do another tutorial, I am going to show you properly, but already this video is already long, so I don't want to waste so much time on that. I hope you understand me. So I'll show you in a better, like when I'm making another video, I'm going to show you another, like properly. So now I am done putting the Estee on the line on the band. So I'm just going to, I cut 2 pieces for the band, so I am going to head over to the machine to sew down the upper part, then do an understitch, notch it and do an understitch. So I'm sorry, I actually filmed that part, but I didn't know my camera turned off, so I couldn't show you guys that part. So what I just did is the lining after I put, the band after I put Estee, I went ahead to join it on the top. Then after joining, I notched it and top stitch. This one I notched it is because it is, it is curved. I cut it on bias and to curve, it is curved, so I need to notch it and do an understitch. Okay, so now the understitch, you need to decide which part of the band is going to be the front, which part is going to be the back. So it is the back part that I did the understitch on. I hope you know what I mean by understitch. It's the same thing you called top stitch, but the real name should be understitch. Okay, so after I did the understitch, I ironed it out and blah blah blah. I wasn't supposed to iron it anyway, but I ironed it out. So after that, then from the top, I came down by 1.5 inch on the line, the lining, the one that is supposed to be the lining for the band. So I'm going down by 1.5 inches, which is my band length. Okay, I'm marking this right now on the one that is going to be the lining, the one that will be at the back. Okay, so after I mark it like this, I am now going to take my iron to, then I will start folding in the one I have just marked. I hope you understand. So I'm sorry if you feel like I'm rushing this part. It's because the video is already long. I don't like when my video is this long. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not the one watching, but I don't know, sha. So I'm just going to fold in the excess that I have right now. Okay, fold it in neatly with my iron. So if you use Estee on your band, by the time you are folding it in like this, you'll see that it is sticking together. It is sticking together, like you don't need to use hemming gum to hold it in. So Estee does that. The stickiness of the Estee still lingers around to even hold what I'm doing right now. Okay, so after I'll fold everything neatly, then I will re-iron it just for you guys to just watch what I'm doing. Okay, the band is, you see that it is a little bit curvy, like it's curved. Yeah, that is the effect of cutting your band on bias. Okay, so right now I am done working on the band. It is time to put it on my skirt, but before that I am going to measure what I have on my skirt waist round. Okay, you know my original waist is 28, Abby, so I must have 28 at least on this waist round, but after measuring I have 29. Can you see the reason why I asked you to reduce? This is another reason why I asked you to reduce your waist measurement when I went in part 1. You know, like, due to the fact that we cut the cloth on bias, it stretches. Like when you cut something on bias, it stretches out. So if I had reduced my waist by 1 inch or 2 inch, like by the time it stretches out, it will still be giving me something close to my waist, even though my waist measurement. But right now I used my exact waist measurement, but after I measured out what I have on the waist round for the skirt, I have 29, which is 1 inch more than my waist already. So what I'm going to do now is, I have 29. There's no way I can reduce it on the skirt again, so I just have to make my band 29 inches too. So I notched the center of the band, then I did 29 divided by 2, which gave me 14 and a half. So I marked 14 and a half from the notch, from the center to one side. Okay, this is the excess that I'm going to sew it down from this part. Then the second one to 14 and a half, I'm going to mark it to the other side like this, then use my chalk to mark out the excess. Then I'm going to fold it like this. Okay, then draw a straight line that goes from the top of the band to down. So it is this line that I have just drawn. I'll take it to the machine to sew it down. Okay, I hope you understand what I am saying. If you don't understand, you can leave it for me in the comment section. I'm going to explain to you better. So again, if you are still watching at this point, don't forget to like, share, and please subscribe. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. So right now, I'll take it to the machine now to sew it down neatly. All right. So right now I am done sewing down the edge of the band. I'm just going to trim it off a little bit. Be careful not to trim so much so that you don't cut on the thread you sew with and the band will fall apart. So right now what I'm just going to do is I will turn it to the right side and go in with my iron again, just to make that edge we have just sewn down flat and relaxed. Okay, so just sew it down neatly, and when you are sewing, please follow the curve of your band. Okay, we cut it on bias, so that means this band is not straight. So when you are ironing it as well, follow the curve. All right, so after this I am now going to bring my skirt to fix the band on it. Okay, so now you see this excess is what we are going to use to fix the band on the skirt, but we need to make sure that we don't have more than ½ inch sewing allowance on this excess that we have here. So measure what you have, or better still, just mark out your ½ inch sewing allowance all around this excess. Then if you have excess, just cut it out. So the next thing, after I cut out the excess, what I'm doing now is I am using my chalk to follow the shape of the one we folded in. So this is going to be the line I'm going to follow when I'm sewing. It's just like I'm marking out my ½ inch sewing allowance. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So now let's put the band on the skirt. So now right side facing each other. Okay, right side facing each other. This excess that we have, I'm going to place the center of the band on the center of the skirt. Already I have notched mine, so it was easy for me to locate. Please do well to notch your own. Then I'm going to start arranging it like this, using my pin to secure it. So I'm going to start arranging from the side that I'm going to sew from. So I won't bother arranging the second side, because already if I'm sewing from this side and I go all the way, I'll be able to arrange it as I am sewing. Okay, so just make sure you arrange it neatly. So right now I have gone ahead to sew it down. Okay, and I'm using the band to cover the seam allowance. Okay, please just look at what I'm doing and please pay close attention. So I have gone ahead to sew down the band. The first step is to sew down the band to the main fabric. I have done that. So the seam allowance, I'm pushing it inside the band. Okay, and you know that I folded one part of the band, which is the lining part of the band. So that folded part, I am now going to use it to cover the seam allowance. Okay, so after I am done, I'm now going to use my pin to secure it neatly. After ironing like this, I will now head over to the machine to sew it down again. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand, just make sure you follow through with this video. So So to sew it down, I am just going to sew by the tip from the outside. I'll be sewing from the outside, and I'm going to be sewing by the tip of the band. Okay, if you can sew under the band, like tiny little bit under the band, it will be really nice. But if you cannot, just sew a little bit on like on top of the band down. So I've gone ahead to sew down mine. So now I just want to show you what the inside of the skirt looks like. The inside is the highlight for me. Okay, look at it. I want you to see the waist area, and I want you to see the zip area. Okay, so look at now. Sorry, I don't know, I wasn't careful enough. I think I burned the lining, so make sure not to burn your own. I don't know if I'm not sure I burned it, or if I mistakenly rip it apart from when I was sewing. So but anyways, just be careful when you are making your own. Okay, so this is the outside of the skirt. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm seeing some excess thread around the waist area here, not the one I used to sew down the band, like the one I used to sew down the pleats, and the one I used to join the lining to the main skirt. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to take my seam ripper to loosen them out. After that, I am now going to use my hook on the skirt. I'll put hook on the skirt. So now after that, I'm just going to go ahead and wear the skirt to show you guys what it looks like on me. Okay, and that will be all for today's tutorial, everyone. I hope you were able to follow along, and I hope that everything made sense to you from start to finish. If you have any question at all, or you run to any challenge while making your own, feel free to reach out to me in the comment section. You know I will always reply you. Also, don't forget to like this video if it helped you, and share it with other people that you think will benefit from this tutorial. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, okay, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out any of my tutorial when I upload. Until next time we meet again, stay fly, stay stylish. Bye bye.